Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to CMECP Corner with your host, founder and CEO, and acting executive director of the Certified Master Electrical Profession Program, Mr. Paul Abernathy. Everybody, welcome to the show, baby.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the very first inaugural CMECP Corner, the podcast. Yes, again, more clapping. Welcome to the podcast. So this is a parallel series with a video series called CMECP Corner, the video series. That's going to start in our new studio that we're building in 2023. But we wanted to start the podcast version of that early so we can get a lot of the foundational stuff out of the way. So that's what this is. So this is the CMECP Corner, the podcast. And we'll be touching a lot of things leading up to the video series that will be in the start of 2023 when we start that. And hopefully what we're going to do is we're going to have some spotlights on some of our CMECP candidates, spotlights on some of our volunteers, some of our candidate review board members, and talk a little bit with them, their history, get them out there to the world, because it is to us amazing that they give of their time. And again, you got to remember that there's not a lot of CMECPs that can make it through the program. Quite a few try, not all succeed. So a lot of our candidate review board guys and gals, they won't see a candidate until it makes it to the end. So they really don't know what the process is of what's happening with students and I keep saying students, candidates, and some of them just don't make it and they drop off. And so it's always important to me as we're going to move forward that we kind of shed light on a lot of things. So that's the whole concept of the CMECP Corner. And again, it's going to be paralleled with a podcast and a video series. The video series is going to be cool because it's going to be in our new studio. We got some CMECP neon on the wall. We got the bar stool tables, and it's going to be a fun thing. And hopefully I can have some visitors come out and be a part of those video shoots. Maybe have some CMECP candidates, maybe even some of our members and stuff can come out and visit. But of course, we'll do remotes when we need to. The point is, we are going to be shedding light on the CMECP program, opening it up, letting you see what's involved in it, and why people get a little nervous when I say that the majority of the people don't make it through the program. This is why our program is so cost effective, because you only pay a small amount to get into the program. This is not a money generating program, but you get so much more out of it. That's the key. And so a lot of people get into it, and unless they put in true devotion, they're not going to finish in 6 months. And if you don't believe me, you know what? Ask Jay. You know, y'all probably heard of Jay Grunberg. He's the basement king. Okay. Yep. And he is a friend of mine, but he's going through the program like anybody else. And if you ask Jay, he doesn't get any preferential treatment whatsoever. He's going through the program, struggling with the exams, realizing that the course is designed to challenge you. And we set it so that you can't fail but a certain number of times before you're out of the program. In fact, what I'm going to announce on this inaugural episode of the podcast is that we are changing the program as effective as October 1st when it comes to thresholds. Now, of course, just so everybody knows, if you're already in the program, this is not going to affect you, so relax. But because we're constantly improving the course in the program starting in October, you're going to have less opportunities to pass your exams. In other words, we're raising the threshold. So currently, you get 3 attempts at your exams. Now, they shuffle them up. It's changing the questions, but you get 3 attempts. If you fail, you're out. Doesn't matter where you're at in the program. If you fail one of the steps, you're gone. Now, you can start from the beginning, but you're out of it for that session. Okay. And then you have to start from scratch. Well, we're reducing that down to 2 times. This puts a lot of pressure. If it's not enough pressure alone, and you can ask Jay, you can ask Bud, you can ask any of our previous students that have been through the program. We are constantly making it harder because this is not about generating a lot of members. We're not trying to saturate the market with CMECPs. In fact, we might have 1 a year, 2 a year, 3 a year. That's fine with us. So that should dispel any myth that people have out there about it's just a money generating thing. It is not. It is an effort to raise the bar. Now, whether or not people out there want to come on board with us, partner with us, grow with us, it's irrelevant to us because we're moving forward. So in that effort, October 1st, it is changing. The threshold is changing. Good news is, again, for all of our current candidates that are in the program, you're going to be under the current model. So don't worry, don't stress. You're fine. Just keep plugging along. Again, the program's hard enough. But let me talk a little bit about why the program is as hard as it is. So when you become a master electrician, you gain a certain level of knowledge, right? You put your hands on, you worked with the field. You've got the scars, the cuts. You've got the history. You've done it. You earned that license. There's nothing in the industry that takes that to the next level. Now, you might be perfectly happy with, okay, I'm done. I got my master. I'm done. Then that's okay. There's a place. We need those folks, and that's not to demean you. Master electrician to me is one of the greatest heights I've ever achieved in my career. Whether I went to engineering school, whatever, none of that can even compare to the moment that I got my master's license. And then everything that I learned from that point simply was icing on the cake. But I wanted to be better. I didn't want to be. And of course, y'all don't know me. Y'all don't know my electrical install practice. Again, I have plenty of haters out there that'll say what they want to say. But I think anybody that knows me, and if you find them that knows my electrical work, know that I was very meticulous. But I was quick, and I was a fair boss. And, I've got letters from my school that I went to where the instructor has stated I was the number 1 in the school's history and all that. I cared about what I did. That's not here to pat myself on the back. That's not what I'm about for that. It's to show you that I've been there. I've done it. Whether you want to agree to that or not, whether you're one of those young guns who say, yeah, I doubt it, I don't see it. Well, I'm sorry. I can promise you that we did have a first president, George Washington. I can tell you weren't there to see it, but trust me, he was our president, okay? Past is past. You either have to believe what somebody says, and I have never presented anything that would not be something that you can believe in. That's what my course is about. Ask my students. Haters will be haters. They're just jealous. But the reality is, we put together something that people learn with, and the CMECP program is that next evolution. So every master electrician should strive to be a CMECP. Every person that qualifies under our equivalency program should strive to be a CMECP. It's the next logical flow, whether it's for you personally, whether it's something that you need to satisfy in yourself, whether it's for a promotion, whether it's you're running a project and you're that go-to person. That's what the CMECP is all about. But it's not for everybody. And we don't want everybody. Flat out tell you, I don't want your money. Our company doesn't want your money. Our program doesn't want your money. If you sit on one of those other boards and you want to diss it because you really don't know, but you think you know, it's kind of like those people that quote code, but they don't know code. So that's why they don't put it in their posts, because they don't know code. They think they know code. Well, you think you know what this program's all about, but you don't because you haven't been through it. Okay? So at the end of the day, ask anybody that's been through the program. Any of them. I don't care. Any of them. Just do it on your own. Just go randomly ask for somebody that's a CMECP and do it. You see it. Their acronym will be behind their name. What I can promise you is they get something out of the program. How you use it is up to you. It's totally up to you. But it adds credibility to the efforts, the knowledge, and what you put into it. And every owner that's a master electrician, I think, should be a CMECP. That's just me. Okay? Now, with that said, not everybody will make it through the program because of the time constraints. It's a 6-month program. Y'all have heard me talk about that before. So for all you CMECPs out there that have been through this, people will ask you how you went through the program. How was it? And they'll tell you it's a challenge. I just talked to one of our candidates last week, Bud, who's getting ready for his Proctored exam. And he says it's one of the toughest things he's ever done. And he's Master Electrician. And he's done this for years. Okay. Ask Joe Bellatoni. He's been in our program. Very knowledgeable gentleman. It's just, you have to think about what all goes through your mind when you're now tested on your knowledge. And that's what the CMECP program is all about. Again, there's no other program like it in the world. Nobody has a program that's dedicated to the National Electrical Code like this. Nobody. When it comes to Master Electricians or equivalent, this is it. Now, others can probably try to copy because everything that's successful people copy. But we are the original. And when we got these trademarks for our CMECP and for the entire phrase Certified Master Electrical Code Professional, we were able to get those trademarks in specific classes that are very unique to what we have to offer to the industry. So when you go looking it up, tell you what, here's a little challenge for you, okay? Because some people post that they have trademarks on their websites that they don't really do have trademarks. So it's a little fun thing to do. Go to the Patent Trademark Office, uspto.org, I believe it is, or .gov. I can't remember, but you'll find it. Just type in a search bar, USPTO, and do a search and put CMECP in there and look at the classifications we have. Look at the specific structure of those trademarks. And you'll see that it was very meticulous in how we wanted to get those trademarks done because of what we do. So we're real excited about them. There's 2 different classes that we're under, extremely important classes. You can go find it yourself. Again, there's your homework. But at the end of the day, it's all about what it gives you. What kind of tools and support does it give you? Now, for the CMECP, and again, this is the first inaugural CMECP Corner, so I'm kind of giving you the history of the program. When we started this thing back in 2017, the concept was, okay, how do we create a program that takes what a master electrician should know and builds on top of that? So when we created the Fast Tracks program, which is teaching core fundamental code for people preparing for an exam, we said, why don't we take that program, which, by the way, Fast Tracks is also a trademarked program. Why don't we take that program and create it, because code is code, and take it and use that as part of a CMECP program as a core curriculum. Why? Because usually a master electrician that already has their license, that has that time in the field, that wants to become a CMECP, has been out of the actual code for a while. They're not really preparing for an exam. And remember, code is code. So what we do is we take that, we purpose it for the CMECP, but then we throw time constraints. We put in grading level benchmarks, and then we limit the amount of times that you're able to take the exam before you're locked out of the system. So you have to keep moving forward. You have to show progress. You've got to complete it in 6 months. Now that may sound easy. But let me explain something to you. When a CMECP candidate is in the process, there's a lot of emotional things going on. Usually it's life, family, work, and they have to dedicate this time to this study. Usually they're leaders, they're working professionals, they are either owners of company. They're at this point where they're like, okay, I have very limited time to spread across my palette of things to do, but I've got to finish these units. Now, what's different is in the versus the base fast tracks is, you got practice exams, you got finals. They're optional. You can do those, and you can stop at any time in a fast tracks. You get your license, let's say after unit 13, and you go test, and then you're done. I encourage you to finish, but you're done. In the CMECP program, it's not an option for you to stop. You have to complete everything. But guess what? You also have to complete the 20 practice exams, which are now retooled to actual graded accepted exams for the CMECP. And you have to get scores over 80 or you'll get another attempt. But after your third attempt, you're out. I don't care. It doesn't matter whether you went through the entire program and you get to the end and you have a brain fart and you screw up and you fail. You're out. You're done. You can start over, but you got to start from the very beginning. You got to do everything again, submit your application again. You got to do everything over again. Now, what's changing October 1st is that you're only going to get 2 attempts. And you might not say, well, is that a big deal? Well, I was talking to one of our candidates the other day, Bud. And Bud, if you're listening, you're doing great. And you're almost there. And also, I should mention, Bud is very diligent, but he's down to less than 3 weeks or 2 weeks before the program is done, and he's still got work to do. And he's been very diligent. So again, one of the things is time management. That's a struggle for people. And we understand that. That's why it went from a year down to 6 months. We want that stress on you. That's what makes good electricians great electricians. And that's just our opinion. You can agree to disagree. You can sit over on your little forums and pound your chest and practice what your responses are so that you know that you're perfect. So that nobody can judge you because your responses are perfect. When we know that that's just a facade. The real person back there, when you put them to the test, they might not pass the test. They might not have the mustard. They might not live up to what they need to be. So it's easy to talk a game, but if you're going to talk it and you're not going to walk it, then it doesn't mean anything to me. Your comments or whatever doesn't mean because you mean nothing to me, right? So you're just wasting your time. I laugh at it because I realize I consume your time, but you mean nothing to me. Those that are interested in the program, those are the ones that understand it. Those are the ones that get it. And some people, it's just this drive inside of them to achieve it. Okay. And really, every electrician has to understand that there's 2 elements to being an electrician. There's the mental part, there's the physical part. There's only so many boxes, there's only so many cables, there's so many panels that you can install where it's just, really? You're just going to get more proficient. You're just going to get better. But again, if you've done 1, you've done 1,000,000. So we're not focusing on the physical part. We have to focus on the mental part. And that's what CMECP is all about, the mental part. We're giving you credit because you have to be a master or equivalent to even get in the program. So we're giving you credit for that. It's where we're taking you after that. And to be good mental preparation, we have to put time limits on it. We have to put grade level limits on it. We have to push you. But even in the CMEC program, once you get past the 6 months, you now have what's called the Proctored Exam. The Proctored Exam is proctored in a sense that it is recorded and it's kept in our database. It's done live. Everything's recorded. You can't leave your seat. Everything's done. So it is something that is kept on file at the corporate office, and it's part of the process. That's a 100-question exam. It's open book, but you have somebody watching you the entire time. Now, everybody kind of went to that in COVID. We were doing this before COVID in 2017 when we started this. So it's not a new concept for us. Now, people want to say, well, to be proctored, it's got to be by a third party that has no interest in it. That's not true because it's all recorded. So any interaction between us and the candidate is recorded. So that's not us giving you the answers. It would all be recorded. So again, it's there for anybody who wants to request it. Okay. So, the thing about this is you got to do 100 questions. You've got to pass it 80%. And at the end of the day, that's not it. You still got one more step. And it's a unique step. It's called the 5-on-1. The 5-on-1 is where you have to answer questions to 5 other CMECPs that have been established in the industry who know the code. Either they've been through our program or they've been selected directly for their knowledge and awarded the voluntary position as long as they are helping in the program. And they are people that the board of directors have established are experts in their industry. Now, there's also no better person to have go to be on a review board than it also a person that has been through the program. So at the end of the day, it's one of those things where you've got your peers and they're going to ask you questions. You have to answer their questions, record it again live. And I don't get involved in that except for if I'm doing a proxy. In other words, the last one we had, I think we did a proxy, and it was Jason that was doing it, was in, going through his. And I was a proxy for, I think it was for Marty, because he couldn't attend. Marty Schumacher is one of our CMECPs, who's the one of our board of review board members. And he gave me his question, and I asked on his behalf. So we do have a proctor, but it's not my question. It's not here for Paul to do that. I'm the acting executive director. Hopefully after the first of the year, we'll have a new executive director of the program so that I can focus on what I do, and that is create programs and oversee things and have somebody else take the wings of this program, because we expect the CMECP program to be huge, because it is something that's designed to be huge. Whether you want it or not, it's totally a personal preference. But there are people that need this. They want this. We have companies that need leaders who know the code, you don't get paid to do things twice. You get paid to do things once. That's what CMECPs are there to protect against. They understand the code. Plus, they become a network of like-minded individuals that they can bounce things off of. They can ask questions to if they need to. Those type of things. A family, if you will. So anyway, so once you get past the 5-on-1, then guess what? You become a CMECP. You have all rights to the acronyms. You have all rights to any logos and things like that. And in 2023, we will have special things that available only to the CMECP that they'll be able to get. But also, once you become a CMECP, you'll also get access to our educational portal, which has management training, leadership training, all those available if you choose to partake in those. You also have access to a lot of savings and discounts in our discount club. A lot of good savings. I've saved quite a bit on movie tickets and a laptop or whatnot, where you're getting things at employee cost with those large companies. So that's amazing. It pays for itself right there. But you get access to that. Whether you use it or not, it's up to you. But you get access to these things. And we'll slowly be adding more and more things in there as we bring on partners and trying to grow the CMECP. But again, this is not a club that's a good old boy club. You have to get into it by putting in your time and your dues. Now, only those that make it into the CMECP are the ones that are voted on as we can attest to their knowledge, right? We can attest to the knowledge in their industry, right? So those individuals I can personally vouch for as the creator, the founder. So those are the different types of things again, but generally everybody has to go through the program. And it's tough. And you can ask them, it's a tough program, but it's designed to be that way. We just don't want anybody into it. I just don't want anybody carrying the acronym, which goes to say, if you see anybody out there that's using CMECP behind their name, if you find anybody out there, here's a challenge, you ready? Any of you out there that are master electricians, and you can give me evidence of anybody out there using our CMECP behind their name, in their marketing, in their promotional, take a picture of it, screenshot it, whatever, email it to us. And if you qualify, I will let you in the CMECP program for free. Okay, we'll waive the introduction, the application fee. We'll get you into the program and share that person so that we can have our attorneys contact them. Because you know what? If you are using our CMECP improperly, we're coming after you 100%. We're not going to let any marks get diluted here. If you see anybody using our fast tracks, if you see anybody using our CMECP, let us know. We'll reward you for it, okay? Snitches win in this program, okay? So if somebody's using it, you let us know, because they should not be using it, okay? And if they are using it, that should tell you. They're using it because they know the value of it, but they couldn't go through it, all right? Anyway, so this was our first inaugural CMECP Corner, the podcast. We're going to have more episodes, cover more topics that are going to be very important to CMECPs, as well as anybody that's interested in the program. If you want more information on the CMECP program, or you end up having any questions on it, do me a favor. You can go right to our website, cmecp.org. It's O-R-G. And you can get all the information. And I should answer one question that I get quite a bit about people that aren't masters. They say to us, okay, I love the concept of your program. How do I get involved in it, but I'm not yet a master? Because you keep saying you got to be a master equivalent. That is true. To get into our CMECP program as the master level, so that you go through the 6-month course and then take the proctored and then do the 501, you have to be a master or equivalent. When we say equivalent, take Ohio, for example. They don't have master license. They have electrical contractor's license. That's equivalent. Okay. Now, we have a program that is called, it's an apprenticeship program for the CMECP program. You have to, one, be a journeyman electrician, okay, to get in that program. And then you can get our course and you can take it for a year, just like the normal fast track program. You have the same threshold, the same exam threshold. You got to do everything that the normal CMECP would do. The only difference is you get 1 year to do it. Okay. Now, here's the caveat. At the end of that year, you either have to be a licensed master electrician before the end of your program. And if you are, you submit that to us, and then you will move straight to the proctored, and then you can do the 501. We're just going to give you a year to do it. Now, why would we do this? Because this is all about value. If you're a journeyman electrician out there and you're studying to be a master, you could go buy our Fast Tracks program, or you could get into our apprenticeship, and you're going to get 2 for 1, really. You're going to get our apprenticeship program. You're going to learn the National Electrical Code. You're going to get the same amount of time as you would in the Fast Tracks, which those are 1-year programs. You're going to get all that time. The only difference is the grading aspect of it kicks in. So yes, you get a year, but you're going to have to be very diligent in how you do the grading, how you do your scores, paying attention to that, because the same threshold for the master is going to be the same threshold for the journeyman. It's just that you get to go slower, spend more time in the material, right? And you get an entire year. I don't think you'll need a year, but you need it. But one of the other key things is you've got to get your master's by the end of a year in order to move on to the next step. So you really get what you wanted. I mean, if you're preparing for an exam, then you're going to get all those elements for preparing for an exam. You're going to get it all. You'll even get to come to our Wednesday night sessions. You get it all. But also, it allows you to prepare to take an exam for the master. But then, not only do you achieve that milestone, you get that master license, you're extremely excited. But it all of a sudden bumps you to the next thing. You get to go right into the proctored exam, and then right into the 5-1 if you pass the proctor. And you also very quickly can elevate yourself to a CMECP as well. So that's kind of what we do at the program. So don't get me wrong now. If you're in the apprenticeship program, you've got a year to finish it. But you have to finish it everything the same, exactly the same as a CMECP would be on a normal program. It's just that they got 6 months to do it. You'll get a year to do it. You with me? That's the only difference. Now, as of October 1st, that same threshold for the apprenticeship program is the same as the CMECP 6-month program for masters. You can only take exams twice. This also applies to the competency reviews that people struggle with. So you're going to struggle. It's going to be tough for you. But now, let me also tell you though, even though if you're an apprentice, if you're in the apprentice program and you flunk out of the CMECP apprentice program, you're still going to have access to your course for a year. You can still continue to study to get your license, your master's. You're just not going to qualify for the CMECP part, but you're still going to be supported in the exam prep part of it. So you're not going to lose that part of it. You're just not going to be able to move on as a CMECP. Because again, we have these thresholds you have to meet. We don't want to accept just anybody into the CMECP. I mean, I'd be happy if we get one a year. I know my board would hate me to say that, but I want the best of the best. I do not want just anybody. I don't. And I'm assuming the executive director that takes over after me will have that same mentality, because this is not about generating sales. This is about generating the best of the best. That's what I'm all about. Whether you agree, disagree with it, that's your prerogative. I'm just telling you it is what it is, and that's what my effort is, and that's what I'm searching, and that's what I'm striving for. So that brings us to the end of the very first episode of CMECP Corner, the podcast. It kind of sets the tone for the program, kind of lets you know what it is. Now, moving on from here, we're going to do more of things like leadership, mentorship, program, things that are beneficial to CMECPs or people that are still interested in becoming a CMECP. We'll get into more details. So this podcast is not going to be for everybody, but hopefully those that are interested in this type of program are taking your game to the next level. We will cover all those things that will help you be benefited by it as we move forward in this series. So again, thanks for listening. I hope you got something out of the podcast. Until next time, stay safe. God bless.
You've been listening to CMECP Corner, the podcast, with Acting Executive Director Paul Abernathy, CMECP founder and President and CEO of Electrical Code Academy, the corporation, baby. Thanks for listening. Until next time, be safe.